cannot block him tonight. Goes up and gets it. He finds a man. Touchdown, Nordonia. Hello and welcome to Nordonia High School. It is week 7 and homecoming here on Focus Sports. You're seeing right now the crowning of the king and queen. Congratulations again to Josh Henderson and Anaya Parks for being the 2023 homecoming king and queen for the Knights. And after all the festivities wind down, it's time for some football in week 7. Pete Hansberger, Dominique Sanders, and the Focus Sports crew are with you. As Dominique, we've got a good one tonight. 6-0 Nordonia against 5-1 Wadsworth.
Man, as we talked about all week, Pete, this is a game we've been excited for. Obviously, a lot on the line, a lot at stake here, and I'm excited to see the battle up front. You know, we talked about obviously the Knights, D-line, their front seven, those Hogs led by Big Ashley up front, and obviously Wadsworth, they have a running game effect, power effect that's just been dominant all season long. Figure 8 leading the way for those guys. So, it'll be see who wins the battle up front. Probably going to have most success to win the game tonight.
Well, just being honest, both of these teams are probably bound for the playoffs this season. Now's the time when you really start thinking about your seedings and how do you get as high as you can so that you can host a playoff game or two and maybe avoid some of the teams that are those top teams in the state, at least for a couple rounds. So every one of these games matters, and there's the Suburban League that's on the line as well. Throughout the last few weeks of the season, Nordonia, down at halftime against Twinsburg a week ago, came back and won 38-31, showed that they can make things happen even when they have to come back.
Yeah, and obviously the big game last week with Wadsworth, tie it in the fourth quarter. What a great article read. The quarterback hits his receiver deep to take the lead and win that game. So obviously both teams with big wins last week, having momentum for this week.
Grizzlies took down Hudson after being down at halftime also, and like you said, and Hudson's been one of those teams that's kind of dominated Suburban League the last couple seasons. Wadsworth got him last week. Nordonia has had a really good run this season too, with a first-year starting quarterback who's going to get the ball first to start the game. Ben Chesser, the junior, we saw him earlier in the season, and it looked like he was still finding his way from a passing standpoint. Definitely a talented runner already. Last week, 3 touchdowns through the air, 2 on the ground. So he's showing that he's improving in both of those areas.
Yeah, and pregame talking to Coach Sanders and talking to Coach Roush, they're very excited for this game. They talked about how energized the guys have been all week as we get squared off for kickoff.
So here we go. Knights have a drop ball right at the goal line, but they're going to try to make something happen and only get out to about the 16-yard line. And that was 81 Sam Collins for the Knights. So here we go. Israel Petit, a guy to keep an eye out for Nordonia, as well as Rocco De Lorenzo. He's almost become a 100-yard every week kind of back.
He's like the streaker back. He's not really talked about, but every time, he's out there, he's efficient, he's effective, and he's definitely put pressure on that defense.
Nordonia has shown they have a couple guys that can play that running back position. De Lorenzo has been the number one, though, and there's Ben Chesser, 6'1", 185 junior, and he's going to start with the handoff and not going very far, maybe half a yard for De Lorenzo.
As we see up front, Wadsworth, they're going to be physical. They're going to be strong, and they're going to definitely do their best to win the battle in the trenches. So obviously, Nordonia has to establish that run game, though, to be multidimensional against such a great team.
Knights are looking to flip the script from last year when Wadsworth won that 41-14. This will be a pitch to the right side. De Lorenzo again. He finds a tiny bit more room, but a relatively short gain of about 1.5. That'll bring up 3rd and 8. There's Jeff Fox. Double-digit seasons at Nordonia. Had a really successful tenure here. Likes to run the hurry-up spread offense. Look, and He's got guys that can catch the ball year in and year out, too. Chester's going to throw with an empty backfield, looking for that out route at the sticks, and he throws a little bit wide. Good coverage there, too.
You see it early. Man-to-man coverage on the outside. Look like semi-press coverage. They're going to try and be physical. And, I think Nordonia, has to set the tempo on the edge. In my opinion, they have to use their athleticism, to have some success here tonight. And I think that is going to be their game plan.
So here's Chris Garcia back to punt. Garcia is a senior. Plays a little linebacker and punts as well. He'll get this thing off, and he keeps it away from the returners. It's going to land right at that 50 and not much of a bounce either way. So the Grizzlies will have really good field position to start.
Going back to, what I mentioned earlier before the kickoff is that, Wadsworth had a tough game last week against Hudson, but how great is it to see, Will Stack, their quarterback, him and Jones hit that connection late in the fourth quarter. They talked about how they grew up playing football together at such a young age, and they were able to come back and secure that dub last week.
Those are fun stories to hear about. Every school's got a couple of them too, whether it's like brothers, siblings on the team, or whether it's somebody that knew each other since they were 4 or 5 years old. Now they finally get a chance to play together under the Friday night lights.
And an empty package here. Maybe draw some of those backers out to open up those lanes for the QB.
Stack is a senior, 5'10", 170. Is going to throw the swing pass to start. That's Figueray, and he'll get hit hard by, I think that's Petit coming up from his safety position. Not too many guys are going to get around him, but then again, Kyle Figueray is a big back.
Right there, I tell you what, he's going to get the ball about 25, 30 carries tonight.
Yep.
25, 30 times tonight, whether it's in the passing game, or running downhill. So nice, better prepared for this big fella.
You can already see, too, Wadsworth's trying to move him around a little bit, so it's not just straight up and down. And this will be a quarterback keeper from Stack, and he's going to get about 5, and he'll get really close to the first down.
And I think a big thing defensively for Nordonia this week, which I'm sure they practice, is just pursuit angles. You got a quarterback that tries to hit the perimeter so hard. It's very, very important that your defensive line, those back end guys, give 110% coming downhill, as you see here.
Third and 1 to Figueray, and I don't know how he got so open, and he is going to go inside the 20 down to about the 15, depending on where he stepped out of bounds. And I think they're going to bring him all the way back to the 25, but still a big gain.
Nice, gotta get a little bit of energy here. It looks like they're a little bit flat-footed here, and Wadsworth definitely has a little bit of spark here to start the game.
I think that may have actually gone to Gavin Madigan, number 23. Nordonia, we talk a lot about their front seven. Asher Wilson's one of the guys. Jordan Jackson's one of those guys. We'll continue to mention them throughout the night. Pressure now on Stack, but he's got time. He's going to throw back across his body, but I think wisely threw that one out of bounds. Coverage was there. Danny Hours, you see number 9, as well as Vince Natali, number 5 in the foreground. Blake Allen, 11. I love Allen's game at that corner position as well. The linebacking core, though, is one of the better in Northeast Ohio, as you just see guys that can make hits, they can make tackles. Vince Hack is one of them. Brendan Hermensky is another. 2nd and 10. This will be a faking of the jet sweep, and Stack's going to try to run it himself, but he gets gobbled up in the backfield.
Jordan Bird, great pursuit.
Bird, 6'1", 230. He's that other linebacker we didn't even mention yet. That's not bad size for a high school linebacker, 230. So no gain, lost a couple inches. It'll be 3rd and 10. Knights went 3 and out on the opening offensive possession. Clock is ticking close to 9 minutes here in the first quarter. Wadsworth's in town. They always have a big band, and they always travel well. Nordonia, it's homecoming too, so the home stands are packed. Roll out here, and going to be a throwback and wide open. Figueray fooled the defense, and he is in for a touchdown. 24 yards on 3rd and 10. That's a heck of a play design.
Yeah, it looked like, Wadsworth was expecting some sort of blitz of pressure as they, countered it with a quick route to the back and the flats. And that throwback was wide open, caught the defense off guard for 6.
So Figure Eight makes an impact on the first drive, not in the way that we would expect. I mean, he's doing it from catching the football more so than running. So the extra point is up and good by Riley Edgehouse. And that'll leave Wadsworth on the board first, 7-0. This is a fast start for the Grizzlies compared to last week when they didn't have much of going on offense against Hudson until the third quarter.
Yeah, they understand that, this is a must-win game for them. That they expect to have some sort of share or even, full rights of that Suburban League title. This is the game that they have to win.
You saw Figure Eight right there where he got the faked handoff. He just sort of trotted a couple steps, and I think he made everybody think the play was over from his standpoint, and then he took off. So a lot of game left. The Knights are back now in the kickoff return squad again. Justin Todd is the head coach for Wadsworth, as they've had a really good program the last few years. I mean, they had a Mr. Football, I believe, 3-4 years ago, quarterback.
They've definitely, he's definitely done a great job of sustaining excellence with this program. They have that DNA of being physical, of being that, run-heavy team.
Yeah, I remember the days of Jack Snowball, the running back.
Oh, yeah.
Who was one of the top running backs in Ohio, going back now 6-7 years.
Mm-hmm. He was a problem.
And this one is going to be a long kickoff again. It's taken by Collins on the right side, and this time he picks up a little bit more to the 22. That's where the Knights will take over. We saw Chesser, or heard of him maturing throughout the season. I mean, hasn't made a lot of mistakes. Has architected this offense to a 6-0 start, so he's got to be doing something right.
Yeah, it's a big game for these young wide receivers out there. RJ and Sam. They have definitely big talent, big play potential. There's a lot expected for these young cats tonight, and they definitely have the ability to do so.
Collins is a sophomore in there, like you said, doing big things, and this is a run-pass option that Chesser took himself, and Wadsworth just stayed home. Chesser's a big kid that can run a little bit. Picked up 4 on first down there. A lot of Wadsworth Grizzlies up near the line.
Yeah, I'm surprised how they're going man-to-man against this offense.
Over the middle, this is going to be complete. And you called it.
Well, it's just that's something you expect Nordonia to have the advantage of. If they're going to go man-to-man against the athleticism of the Knights, and this is what they have to do. They have to take the advantage, take the risk, and attack those big play opportunities.
Great route you see there by Collins on the replay. And I like how the sophomore caught it with his hands, and he was getting hit at the same time and didn't drop that football. So quickly up to the line. Knights already got 5 yards on first down, and this is what they like to do. Here's De Lorenzo again, and he gets another first down.
There's that momentum. There's that spot to him. And you mentioned it, Nordonia thrives on being up-tempo. They get that extra pep in their step, and it's very important that they execute offensively early in the drive to sustain that.
Josh Henderson, one of the linemen, the homecoming king, and there's some movement up front. That's the only problem that you see from time to time with these really fast offenses is sometimes the timing gets tough or somebody's ready to move while the other guys aren't quite yet.
Especially you have that motion in.
Defensive coaching staff you see working with some of the guys, Jordan Bird, Brendan
Coach
Domensky.
Bell right there holding it down. What a great guy. Honestly one of the best coaches I've been around.
And this will be another handoff right up the middle. It was first and 15 after that penalty, and they'll get about 2 back. De Lorenzo listed at 5'10", 180. He doesn't look 180 to me from up here, but, man, he's a tough kid.
He is. He runs hard. He plants his foot, gets downhill, he lowers his shoulder. delivers the boom. I love it.
And a motion for the Knights, and it'll be another handoff. And patient running there by De Lorenzo to pick up a solid game. This is getting into the 4-down territory for Nordonia, too.
Knowing Coach Fox.
Not a surprise there that they run that play, because they're probably thinking, hey, if we can get 3 or 4 more, we're going for it. Pistol formation right now for Chesser. De Lorenzo right behind him. And he'll get another run right up the middle. And most of the time you'd be shocked to see that call on 3rd down. But not with Nordonia and Coach Fox.
Chipping away, getting as close as they can for this 4th down conversion. We saw earlier last possession, they tried to hit a quick route towards the perimeter. We look forward to them going right back to the middle of the field where they had success earlier in this possession.
Got 3 receivers there to the bottom. That's where Chester's going to look. He's got time. He's going to run it, and he is not going to get anywhere near it. And the good coverage in the back end forced Chester to hold on to it. The offensive line really did a pretty good job, though.
Did their job. You expect those skill players to get open there and give credit to Wadsworth defense. They were able to stay with the guys on those routes.
Get a good look at the visiting stands from this shot, as they're excited right now with a 7-0 lead. The offense is coming back on the field. Now it's time for the Nordonia defense to settle in a little bit. Make sure you got 28 marked at all times. Yeah,
this is where you kind of got to put your foot down here. It's an important possession. I know it's early, but you gotta kind of set the tone here to let these guys know. Look, we're gonna hold you guys here and not let you march the field here for 2 straight drives in a row.
Motion on 1st down. Figuere's going to get it behind a lead blocker. He'll break a couple tackles, but gang tackling by the Knights are going to get him after 2 yards. Coming up there, Brendan Hermensky, one of those senior linebackers, along with Bird and Vinny Hack. This time Stack will take it. He's got a little bit of space on the left side. Man, he's shifty.
Man, he's fast. He knows. It looks like he knows where the points he wants to get to. He got a feel initially. He saw the outside block here by the receiver. Was able to get outside of him and gain more yards. The 1st down.
That makes an offense a lot more dynamic when you have to deal with 2 guys running the ball on any given play. That reminds me of Medina Highland. For several years, they had that 1-2 punch of that, the quarterback, running back. This will be a fade now, trying to go deep on 1st down. And if that's a completion, that's a great catch. There's Drew Jones.
They talked about before the game last week. He had 2 catches, both for 25 yards.
The coverage couldn't have been much better either.
You can see he's definitely their deep ball threat. He's been just consistent at it all year. He's got a hole.
Wadsworth flipped the field already and just running people over. On his way to the end zone is Figuere, and that's another 24-yard touchdown. He's got 1 running and 1 passing already.
As we see thus far, he's all as advertised. He's big. He hits the hole fast. He's attacking and he wants to boom. And you see here the way he ended this run here. He's definitely a man on a mission tonight.
13-0, and the kick to make it 14-0 is good. That's Riley Edgehouse, the kicker, and the home crowd is stunned right now.
Yeah, Nordonia has been in this situation before. They've been down early, and they're going to have to claw their way back. And I think, obviously, as the game continues, time chips away, each possession matters. And they got to get some points on that board to drive.
There was a big hole on left side and good vision at first to see it, and then just the power. Wadsworth, unlike most seasons, they're, at least in the last couple years, they're chasing Nordonia on the record, and you can tell that they've got a chip on their shoulder about that.
For sure.
So Petit and Collins will be back there again. And, I mean, this game has been partially a field position game so far where Wadsworth has had great looks at it. That possession, though, they did have to go quite a bit longer and a couple of chunk plays.
Yeah, and Nordonia just looked out of position on a couple of those plays. No reason to give up, gaps that big, especially up front with the talent that they have.
Collins going to take that high bounce. And if he could stay on his feet, he had something on the left side, but he was going to have to go a long way to get there. And that actually was Petit who picked that thing up. He was probably one defender away from being able to turn that corner, as we've seen Petit with some return touchdowns already this season. This is a great measuring stick game, I think, for both of these teams, because Twinsburg played Wadsworth really tough. I mean, they had that game, real shot at winning that thing in the second half. And then Wadsworth goes and beats Hudson. Twinsburg played Hudson tough as well.
So good competition, good teams here in Suburban League this year.
Yeah, Nordonia Twinsburg was a good one last week as well. And this will be a quick square in, and it's going to go right through Petit, who's the intended target.
Looks like a good throw from up top and a great route.
These defensive backs are being aggressive,
yeah.
And they're playing tight. And you've got to think Nordonia sees that and is thinking about some kind of double move. But Tyler Probst, number 11, has been in there a couple times. 2nd and 10. This is going to be a running to De Lorenzo and dives forward for a few. So he gives the Knights some options here on 3rd down. Pickup officially 5. De Lorenzo still a junior, so running back, quarterback juniors for Nordonia. It'll be another run on 3rd and 5, and he is short. And that is a confident coach calling those running plays on 3rd and 5, and now I think they're going to punt. That is kind of an interesting.
Yeah, it looked like maybe try to catch him off guard there.
But it didn't quite work out that way, so now Nordonia is looking like they're probably going to give the ball back unless they have something tricky cooked up right here. 4th and 2.
No, you called it.
A fake. And Nordonia breaks a tackle, and they dive forward for the first down.
It's funny. Once you called that, the camera showed Coach Fox's face, and I'm looking at him like, something looks a little different.
So Brendan Hermensky took that, because I was thinking, why would they run that running play on 3rd and 5 if they're just going to punt it away again down by 2 scores? They executed it, and it worked. Chester now, play action. He's going to go second level.
What a catch. Woo! What a grab.
There's the senior Petit. We heard he's getting recruited to schools like Cincinnati, the MAC schools, Youngstown State. Great wrestler in addition to a great football player.
Yep. And a great track
qualifier, right?
Yeah, I remember this kid when he was in 8th grade, he used to walk the hallways at the high school, and I used to try to recruit him for basketball. I'm like, what are you doing? You're a hooper. He's like, Coach, I'm a wrestler. I say, yes, you are, big fella.
He's a tough kid, and we've got whistles before the play, and that's one of those momentum killers. Nordonia had one on the last drive. When everything was cooking, they had that 1st and 15 where they couldn't recover. There's another look at that pass on the run.
Yeah, this is a great snag. Get it at its highest point. I think that to me, in my opinion, I think that's the best game plan for Nordonia here offensively tonight. You obviously need to be multi-dimensional. You establish the run game, but they're going to guard you one-on-one the majority of the game. Then you got to make them pay.
So now 2 deep safeties for Wadsworth. Looked like it made a little more sense to run on that play, and the defensive line got penetration again. Good play there by Jacob Ernest.
The one thing is you can see with Wadsworth, they use their hands very well. They use their hands very well. Coach Todd, I remember when he came in a few years ago, one thing he did was go out and recruit those wrestlers. Those guys that come out and play football as well. And You can see here just the physicality and the way they use their hands and their leverage. These guys are definitely well coached.
They have that year in and year out, that smash mouth defense reputation. This will be a run play now on 3rd and 12, and Nordonia backed up still pretty far in their own zone. Continue to run the football on 3rd and long. And this would be deep in the bag of tricks here if this was another fake, because this time the handoff went to Liam Kuntz, it looks like. If I'm looking at that number right, it is a blackout here tonight in the home stadium, and the black uniforms we're going to talk about a little bit later is part of Safe Decisions Week and was actually donated by a couple who we're going to hear from, and that punt is blocked. It's going to be picked up by Wadsworth, and they're inside the 20 again.
Wow.
And I was thinking the first time we saw Garcia punt that Wadsworth was getting pretty close to it, even on that first one. This time they got it. Ernest again picks it up.
They blocked that punt without even having to lay out for it.
Big mistake there by Nordonia on special teams after having the fake punt. So now Nordonia's defense is going to get called upon to try to make a huge stop as they're already in a 14-0 hole. Still in the first quarter. And we're ready to play. Now 2 backs that are surrounding Stack. He's going to run the option to take it himself. He's got space up the middle, makes a man miss, and he's inside the 10 down to about the 5.
Yeah, the only defense has to attack. They're waiting for the ball carrier to get to him. They're not getting downhill. And I'll tell you what, an offensive player, when you see that, you sense blood. You have to trust your instincts, trust your coaching, trust your technique, and fill those gaps hard and go make those tackles.
So it'll be 2nd and inches from the 5. Stack now. Couple backs. He'll hand it off going wide.
Go.
There's a big hit from the Knights. Coming over hard to make the play is Hermensky.
I'll tell you what, that's one kid that's going to bring it every play.
Yes, he will. And that handoff actually went to Gavin Madigan, one of the sophomores. Even though it was only about a half-yard gain, it is a first down. So Wadsworth now 1st and goal. And we're under 30 seconds to play in the first half. Probably looking at one more snap unless the clock stops here. Motioning back into the backfield is Figueroa. They'll run the option again. Stack's going to take it again. He tries to dive forward, but Nordonia's there.
If I'm Nordonia, what the way play calling is for Wadsworth right now, I'm bringing a lot of pressure. I guess to at least force them to throw the ball downfield maybe and see what this young cat can do in the pocket. Because he is torturing them on that running game. Maybe that could be a little adjustment for those guys.
So that will do it for the first quarter here at Bullion Stadium. It is homecoming for Nordonia, and they've got some work to do. Down 14-0 to the Wadsworth Grizzlies. And while we are at the end of the first quarter, we want to get into something here called Safe Decisions Week. So this is something that returned to all the schools in the Nordonia Hills School District this week, and the week-long safety education program is again sponsored by State Farm agents Joe and Jill Gaba and the Ohio Sports Chiropractic and Rehab. Joe Gaba is returning now, joining us in the booth as you see some footage from Safe Decisions Week. And Joe, thanks for joining us, first of all, and we're interested to learn a little bit about what Nordonia has gotten themselves into this season for Safe Decisions Week.
Well, this is our 6th year for Safe Decisions Week. Jill and I started this 6 years ago. We approached Ohio Sports Chiropractic and partnered with them because they're into health and safety as much as we are as in safety. And we talked to the school, and they were on board, and they said, if you can pull this all together with not a whole lot of work for us to do, we can do this. And it is evolved. So it started out with the high school, as you can see here, with driver safety, drive team in their skid car, and Akron Children's Hospital with their virtual reality setup. Ohio State Highway Patrol and Summit County Sheriff's Department with the field sobriety tests. It's a way to give them not only information, but hands-on reinforcement of the messaging. And now we're in all the elementary schools with fire safety, bike safety, dog safety. So it's really come a long way.
Well, we're just about to start the second quarter, and there is a timeout. Looks like Wadsworth trying to get organized. And you mentioned all the different types of safety. You started with driving safety. We saw here on some information that we got about the passenger safety, the bike safety, the fire safety. That seems like an encompassing amount of things to learn. And, what kind of things are you hoping that the students or anybody involved takes away from a week like this?
That's just it. We hope that there is some takeaway. I mean, we've got kids now that are seniors that probably did this in middle school 6 years ago. Each year that message is being reinforced with them that you can make the right decisions and you can make safe decisions. And if that saves a life or saves somebody from a lifetime of injury, then it's every minute of it is worth it.
We were talking before the game, as a new father myself with young kids, the idea of like wanting to be less nervous about your kids leaving the house once they get a little bit older. That seems, that's got to be attractive to parents of any age, but especially once the kids get up into, school and middle school and high school and start driving, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've got 2 girls in college. We went through the driver's education with them, and trust me, it doesn't get any more nerve-wracking than that.
Well, speaking of nerve-wracking, Nordonia's defense now is facing 2nd and goal from the 3.
Is that I formation here?
This is a Wildcat formation. There's a running back, and that is going to be Figure. He'll take it. He gets stood right at the goal line and pushed back.
Right there. Sort of bring the heat.
A direct snap to Figure, who's listed at 205, and he's one of the few kids that I think weighs more than he's listed on the roster. There's a good look from field level. Nordonia just refused to let him get across the line. And so, Joe, you said 6 years ago. What gave you the initial idea to get this going here in the district?
Well, we're looking for a way to bring our resources to the community. We contacted the Summit County Sheriff's Department and stop him.
And Stack is close, and he is into the end zone. It looked like for a second he might be stopped short, but he was able to get his body across the line. And that puts Wadsworth up 20-0, less than a minute into the second quarter. Well, Dominique, as the head basketball coach for Nordonia, it's obviously, and a teacher, in the area, like you obviously want all your students to be safe all the time, but, there's part of that too, where I'm sure as a coach, you're worried a little bit extra about your players.
No, for sure. That's something as a coach, you always emphasize throughout the season, make smart decisions. Especially after those late night games when you're driving home from the facilities that late, dark outside. And, you've been at school all afternoon, so it's not easy. And obviously, we expect a lot from my young student athletes, but obviously it's very, very important.
Yeah, and that's why we went with the name Safe Decisions, because they have choices, and choices have consequences.
For sure.
There's another look at the touchdown. As Nordonia's defense, I feel like
he might have been down.
Yeah, I feel like they played their best series that time. It's just they were put in a tough spot after the block punt. Joe, one thing I thought was interesting too is that the banner that's here tonight, I agree to make safe decisions in my life pledge banners that students can sign up for and actually put their name on, which I think is kind of cool. If I pledge something or if I write it down, a lot of times, reminds me a little bit more.
Yeah, we've got one for the high school, middle school, and all 5 elementary schools. So every kid is getting some kind of safety programming this week.
When I see, too, I understand that there's the patch, the SDW, Safe Decision Week patch on the jerseys tonight. Am I right in seeing that this was donated by you and your wife as well, all the jerseys tonight?
That's correct. They had told us when we approached them years ago that the football team had always dreamed of having a blackout uniform or a blackout game, and we jumped on that chance to provide them with a jersey, and we're 6 years into this, and they're still sporting them.
It's a good-looking jersey. It's time for Nordonia, I think, offense to finish one of those drives, and then you can see them celebrating in that jersey. As always, a dangerous return team. This will be a pitch back. And Wadsworth, man, they are just disciplined.
Man, they're disciplined. I'm just gonna say that, man. These guys are full. They're staying in their lanes. All aspects of the game, offense, special teams, and defensively locked in.
Yeah, we're 4-1 for Safe Decisions Week games, and we'd love to see that record improve.
That's good. That's influencing the community in a positive way in a number of ways, you know. One of the things I was thinking about was just sort of the role of State Farm in Safe Decisions Week, and I guess the role of State Farm and sort of your position, your wife's position, and how that, you know, how you guys, I guess, from a day-to-day basis can also help people, you know, impact their safe decisions.
Yeah, I mean, we are local agents. We're local business people, and you know, State Farm has tremendous resources. They not only support us, but through a grant, they support the Summit County Sheriff's Department, and we were able to use a lot of those resources over the years. It's just a great way to take what we've got available to us and bring it to the community. And we do it in our office on a one-on-one basis, but to be able to have the audience of the students for a week is just an amazing chance to make a difference.
That's got to be really cool, and to get a chance to get back in touch with grade school, middle school, high school kids too, because, you know, I coached basketball years ago and loved being around kids of this age, you know, and Coach Dominique, the head coach right now for Nordonia basketball, and like it's got to be fun getting around kids of that age, because they've got all kinds of interesting things to say.
Oh yeah, they do.
Oh yeah. When you watch them walk the line with a sheriff standing there, and he's telling them, yeah, this isn't going well for you.
Yeah.
You hope it makes a difference, and they'll make a smart choice later on down the road.
So is there anything else before we let you go that you think the community should know, or that the students or parents should know about Safe Decisions Week?
We hope to keep doing this as long as we can, you know, and we hope that it will make a difference in somebody's life someday, you know, because the kids that are in first grade today, hopefully we'll be seeing them when they're seniors, you know, 11 years from now.
Yep,
Well,
sure.
we're positive that it's already made a big impact in a lot of
definitely.
kids' lives. So thank you on behalf of, you know, our entire crew and the district for coming on and for sponsoring this, because, you know, the jerseys, everybody loves those, but I'd imagine the bigger impact is, you know, helping people decide, you know, what's the right decision to make in the moment, because it's not always, you know, dealing with kids, having been one myself at one point.
Oh, yeah.
We know that you don't always have all the information you need right in front of you at that age.
And sometimes it's peer-to-peer. I mean, somebody stops somebody else from doing something.
Well, thanks, Joe Gaba, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you stopping in the booth and talking about Safe Decision Week. Thanks again for everything you do for Nordonia's district.
Thank you. Go Knights.
So Nordonia now had gotten a first down. They're going to quickly swing it out on 2nd and 8 and pick up some yardage, getting pretty close to the first down. I almost feel like it's going to take a huge play from Nordonia to really get the momentum back here.
Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for them to, you know, maybe take some shots here offensively. You know, the run game is definitely doing a great job here, at least to keep them afloat. You know, Wadsworth brings in a heavy package here. It looks like they're trying to counter this run game that Nordonia has kind of been doing here for the entire second quarter.
Well, the first 3 drives for the Knights, almost every third down they've run the football.
And the huddle.
And that's a killer right there. It was 3rd and 4. Now it'll be 3rd and 9. Knights still on their own side of the 50. And that's pretty cool. I've heard about Safe Decisions Week a couple years now. Every time we broadcast, you know, we tend to be here for that week. But I didn't realize that it was sponsored by just a married couple who's State Farm agents, and they do all that. So Chester
he's got a guy.
He's open behind the defense, and that is Israel Petit across the 50 inside the 40.
Yeah, there's that shot we talked about, man, especially if he can get some time to step up in that pocket. Nordonia definitely has the edge on the perimeter.
Man, did the Knights need that. A lot of game left, but if they had gone punt there again, Wadsworth's offense has been rolling. De Lorenzo quickly on first down, picks up 5. And I think Nordonia's, it feels like they're trying to get to the point where he can get 4 to 5 on every play.
Yeah.
He's done that, but it has, every couple plays Wadsworth has put the clamps on, and it's slowed down Nordonia's drives.
It's a good strategy, good efficient football. Obviously, if you can get it early, second, third, and short, then it's obviously a better opportunity in second, third, and long.
That pitch to the short side of the field, he had a convoy in front of him. De Lorenzo was able to push forward for a couple.
The one thing I like about Coach Fox and staff is they're never flustered. They understand it's a full-quarter football game. They're gonna stay true to their principles and what works for them, and they're gonna fight and claw back to get back in this football game. That's for sure.
Here's 3rd and 2 now, and a similar play. No, it's going to be a reverse. This is the Hermensky, and it was a shovel pass coming across the left side of the field, and Hermensky didn't pick up anything. So it was a great idea.
Looks like a lineman fell, lost his foot in there.
So this is going to be a 4th down attempt, and it'll be right up the middle, and that'll be a first down. I think Chester was out of the game, and he was, so that was more of a Wildcat look.
Yeah, definitely. That's the second time we've seen that tonight. This time looks like we got
That's Hermensky again.
Yeah. It's a big boy running that football there.
And that's Nordonia not messing around. Where they're saying, look, we're going to get an extra guy in there to block, and we're going to get a big boy to run the football. 1st and 10 now. Farthest Nordonia's gotten in Wadsworth territory so far. A man.
Great pass.
Complete.
Oh, he's fighting. That's 6, baby.
Touchdown, Petit. Israel was one of the candidates for Homecoming King as a senior tonight. And that was some king playing right there.
I love that fight at the end, man. Looks like he got stopped a little short there. That extra grit by the senior.
So Israel caught it at the 5. We thought he was probably going down. As you see the senior's stats, height and weight right there. But, man, he just kept fighting.
Big important drive for the Knights. That's where they capitalize, put points on the board, get themselves back in the ball game.
21-6 now is the score. And Nordonia with a big 4th down conversion. Just a play before that. And the kick is up and good. We have discussion happening on the field. And Connell Rafferty had booted it through. But I wonder if we didn't have a play clock. I saw the signal for restart the play clock, which is that one-handed raise the roof. Now, athletic director Rob Eckerode is discussing something with the officials. And it looks like they may make him re-kick this. So there's a clock challenge. Eckenrode is on the phone now with the press box up here. I think trying to figure out the clock, and we will do it again. So a little more practice. Rafferty. The result is the same. So 6:47 to play in the second quarter. 21-7 now, Wadsworth. Dominique, any stats stick out to you from the first quarter of play tonight?
I definitely got to go with on Wadsworth's side, Will Stack. He's just a playmaker. Whether he's throwing the ball downfield, whether he's rushing the ball, he has over 30 yards on the ground, over 100 yards passing. He looks like he's 6 for 7 attempts, two scores for Wadsworth. On the side of the Knights, obviously it's been a one-man show. Israel Petit, he's been their guy. Over 60 yards receiving in this first half. He's obviously gotten ends on that last possession. Rocco De Lorenzo, he's been efficient. He's over 50 yards on the ground, like around 3.3 yards per carry. So he's chipping away at a 100-yard day here tonight, and with a lot of workload.
Yep, well, a little pre-Halloween orange moon you saw right there in Northfield, Ohio. It's a perfect night for football. Temperature right about 70. after last week, everybody started bringing their coats to the stadium tonight, and we haven't needed them. So Rafferty will kick it off for the first time tonight, and this thing is going to sail into the end zone, which, you know, Dominique, this is a chance for the defense to dig in a little bit. They've got good field position on their side, as you see the DC Tim King on the screen.
Yeah, this is a drive you expect them to carry that momentum forward, you know, especially if they can sustain them and get out of here early, maybe a quick 3 and out. Get the offense to rock with a few minutes left here to maybe put more points on the board before halftime. You know, it's really a great opportunity defensively to kind of keep that tone going and flip the switch here momentum-wise.
So now you should expect to hear some noise from the home crowd, and this is the first time the defense has not faced bad field position, too.
You know, interested to see what they do at Asher. You know, he's been moving around a lot, outside, inside. I seen a little bit of like standing up at the second level, at the backup position. Maybe he can make a play here and get the spark going defensively.
Stack's going to run it on first down and only gets a couple. I was looking at the line for Wadsworth. They've got some big kids on that line, man. I'm looking at the roster, a lot of 265 in terms of weight. I see about 7 guys that weigh about 265. So that's pretty big for high school football.
A couple of those guys got a little bit of, they're over 6 feet tall as well.
Yep. So in the shotgun again, which is where Stack has lived tonight. This time he'll hand it off on the left side to Figure Eight. Runs into a wall.
Great fill right there. Led by the senior, man. Looks like it was Petit again out there on the perimeter. It's all over the football field, offensively and defensively here.
Tried to get Figure Eight out on the edge. Petit took on his block along with Vince Natali and Hermensky.
You know, it's just a flip and switch. You see here defensively. Now they're bringing the attack. They're not waiting for these ball carriers to get downhill.
3rd and 8. And this is a huge play on both sides. 5:38 in the second quarter. Stack looking at the sideline, checking the play. He's looking. He's in trouble. Flushed out of the pocket. Has time, but running out of space. Nearly intercepted there by Vince Hack.
Vinny, what's up, man? That's a great play. I thought you were going to have that.
Stepping in front of the play is always dangerous when a quarterback throws back across his body. He was looking for his receiver, Jackson Urksa, number 81. But Hack was right there, and Nordonia gets it back. So the punter comes on for the first time tonight for Wadsworth. That's going to be Will Reese.
First time we see him tonight, huh?
And the night's coming up right at the 50. And pretty gutsy to catch the ball in traffic like that. And that is a guy who's not afraid of much. Nice job there by Ricardo Ruffin. The Nordonia's coaches, they always have a lot of faith in their punt returners. Ruffin's a sophomore. So is Sam Collins, who's out there making big plays. And you would have thought maybe Petit would be back there, but he's been out there almost every play already tonight. Yeah. He might have needed a little breather.
Tell you what, Norm Ricardo, I'm not surprised he didn't fair catch that. A young cat looking to make a play, looking for some contact there. I feel it.
They did a nice job getting across the 50. Chester has a short field to work with.
Chipping away, Hermensky, chipping away. I'm sorry, not Hermensky, De Lorenzo. Over 61 yards here. How about, it's like 16 carries for him already in the first half.
Yeah, he's been getting it quite a bit. He'll get another one. And this time he runs into a wall right at the line, and he doesn't pick up anything. One thing to note is that Wadsworth will get the football to start the second half.
Yeah, so big drive here, man. Big drive.
Nordonia with 3 timeouts left, Wadsworth with 2.
I like how they got, looks like Petit solo coverage here on the outside. You got to think they're going back to his direction here.
3rd and 6. Chester was looking that way. Now he's going to run a quarterback screen, and there is nothing doing. This is going to lose several yards.
It's like a missed blocking assignment there. allowed the defense there to really make an impact on that play.
Collins did his best to try to fight, but that looked like man coverage too from Wadsworth, and Nordonia was not able to pick off the guys blocking that they needed to. So we've got a timeout on the field from Wadsworth as they're going to try to stop the clock. And as we have that break, we want to talk a little bit about candidates dialogue. So, folks, there's just no excuse to be uninformed voter with Community Focus's annual Candidates Dialogue series. So that includes the candidates for Nordonia Hills School Board. We're going to run a brief portion of that taping at halftime tonight before the band show, so stick around for that. The entire dialogue series will run all month on the channel Spectrum Channel 1021, 1051, and you can watch them all beginning Sunday on the My Community Focus app. That's Candidate Dialogue. And I wonder if part of that timeout was spent discussing to watch the fake from Nordonia's punting squad.
Yeah, definitely got to be heads up alert, especially with the effects that they've shown in the first half.
The last punt Nordonia had got blocked.
4th and 18 here, you expect them to punt it though, right?
I would say so. Garcia with a low snap. He gets it off a really low punt. That's going to bounce a little bit and is picked up inside the 30, and the coverage is right there.
See what, man, that one was almost blocked as well.
It was. I think it hadn't been kicked so low. It might have been.
Yeah.
3:43 is where we're at. Wadsworth has time, but actually with 3 timeouts, if Nordonia's defense can step up again, there's no reason they can't have a little bit of time themselves to take another shot at it. 6-0 Knights. Undefeated season is on the line. Wadsworth is 5-1. Coming off a victory against Hudson last week. And this jet sweep around the end is going to go for about 6. They really like this kid, Gavin Madigan, too. He's really splitting carries with Figure.
You have an assortment of guys that just run hard. And just wear and tear on the defense, and you got fresh legs coming in, still running hard, getting north to south.
This will be a quick shot to the slot, and nice moves there by the receiver, and he'll pick up the first down.
Like Figure maybe?
There's some shiftiness. That was Madigan again. He's just a sophomore. Obviously, bright present and a bright future. And that's the kind of play that Nordonia's been trying to get to work tonight. That those quick passes just haven't been a lot of yards after catch for Nordonia.
Key with that play is you got to get the ball out quick. You got to put the zip on it. And I think a couple times Nordonia was running. Looks like maybe Chester maybe has not gotten a great handle on the ball.
1st and 10 on the 36 now. It's going to be a fake handoff and right up the middle. Up the seam was a pass play, and there was a ton of traffic.
The way that play was executed, you could definitely tell that was the play they were coming back to.
Colton Levitt. And at least from up here, it looked like there were a lot of black jerseys in the area, but that ball zipped right past everybody. And now quickly the line stack will take it himself. He's got space on the left side, looking to turn the corner. And he almost stayed in bound, but picked up a huge gain and gets into the red zone again.
This dude's got some speed to him. He got some speed to him, and when he decides to tuck it, he's a playmaker on the perimeter.
A lot of times if you have quarterback receiver that don't trust each other enough, you see some fumbles when they're not sure whether the quarterback's going to leave the ball in his chest in front of the running back or pull it back out. But these guys obviously know each other well. And this will be quick guys in the backfield, and there's an open receiver who breaks a tackle for the touchdown. That's Drew Jones. 14-yard touchdown, and that puts Wadsworth up 27-7. This one probably should have been a sack, but that shows a little bit of the elusiveness of Stack at quarterback.
Yeah, speed and quickness. He's able to, elusively get past, look like seeing the defender and make a play.
There were Knights in the backfield immediately on that play, and you thought Stack might panic a little bit, and he did not. One more time, the kick is up and good, and with 2:21 to play in the first half, it's back to a 3-possession game. Here's another look at that, and Stack was just facing Hermensky right in his face, and somehow he kept his eyes downfield. That's a solid quarterback, man.
That's definitely a very, very good player.
There's another look at the moon tonight.
Shining bright.
Something's going on because Wadsworth was very, very slow to score last week against Hudson.
Yeah, they flipped the script tonight.
You got to imagine that offensive start was an emphasis in practice this week. Collins again in the back end for Nordonia along with Petit. 2:21 and 3 timeouts still for Nordonia. But man, if you're a Knights fan, you got to be thinking about that last drive where the Knights were down by 2 scores and were moving the ball down the field a little bit before they had to punt.
Yeah, and they had a lot of spunk in that drive, a lot of spark, and kind of just wasn't able to carry on from that possession.
This one is returnable from about the 7, and trying to break some angles here. That was Petit, and he had a nice idea.
Yeah,
if he'd be one more guy, that would have been trouble. Ended up returning to about the 25. Well, this seems like a big drive to me. Momentum-wise, as well as, you go to halftime with a 2-touchdown deficit. You're thinking, all right, all we need is a stop. Then we'll get another score. It'll be 1 possession. But if you don't score here, as that one is nearly intercepted, if you don't score here, you might be thinking, yeah, we're still in the game, but 21's a lot of points.
Yeah, you need to score here, and like you mentioned, especially with the Grizzlies getting the ball back at halftime. A score here, stop the bleeding just a little bit here.
Run up the middle. That's the most space De Lorenzo's had all night, and he'll pick up the first down.
Like you mentioned, what a great cutback. This kid's been consistent all night and all year for the Knights.
Nordonia briefly had the clock stopped, and now De Lorenzo, nice stutter step, and he'll pick up another 9.
He wants that contact when he runs. You see it. He once he gets outside and sees some space, like you see here, the plant get vertical, it's lowering that shoulder here, and he's headhunting.
Nordonia still has 3 timeouts as De Lorenzo will pick up the first down on a short carry close to the 50. And he's got to be at 20 carries.
22 carries, 83 yards here in the first half. Feed this man a steak tonight.
Right. Get him in an ice bath. 1st and 10 now from the 48. Chester's going to throw. He's looking for that out route.
Oh, good route. Like picks up. Had
a man, and normally a sure-handed core of receivers, but that time.
And then Chaddock looks like, see what, he ran a really good route, and it looked like a great time and great ball by Chester. You just gotta really, really, really watch that ball into your hands before you look to get upfield.
Knights will stay with 2 receivers bottom, 2 receivers top here. Passing down. This will be a quick out
back
route.
to him. I like it. Go right back to him.
He caught it this time, like you said, and goes out of bounds. That's big for confidence, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And again, great coaching as well.
Yep.
Going right back to him, trusting your guy, and giving him another opportunity.
Now it's 3rd and 6.
He's got him.
Chester's got a man, and that's going to be caught for the first down. Good route, good throw on the run.
It looks like the Knights are hitting them a lot of concepts of comebacks and curl routes led by that inside flag, and it's it's causing havoc on the outside against the Grizzlies.
1st and 10, Nordonia on the move, still a minute 17, and working his way through the defense. Let's see if that's a different ball carrier. It is. So that's Liam Kuntz. Liam's had a nice season, the junior. So those 2 running backs, juniors, and I believe Gino Perrine is still not back in.
Mm-hmm. He's their starter.
This will be a timeout for Nordonia, their first of the night. And while we have a break, we want to mention focuspicks.org. Talk about them just about every week, but Dennis Polipiak does an awesome job for us. This is a big game. You see all the sports, cheerleading, band, a little bit of everything, and we provide those to you free to download. So all you have to do is go to focuspicks.org. And within a couple days, the gallery from tonight will be up and available. And so thanks again to Dennis. And I assumed it was Nordonia calling a timeout there, but actually that was Wadsworth taking their third, as I think they needed to recruit a little bit on defense. So the Knights still have all 3 of theirs. 30 yards to go for a potential touchdown. Nordonia would love to finish this half getting into that lead a little bit. Now we have a whistle and a stoppage of play. Another penalty on the Knights. I mean, big picture, neither team has really had many penalties tonight. It's just the timing of Nordonia's. Now, that's the 3rd time in a row it's been one of those offense, like pre-snap penalties.
Yeah, just the wrong time. Whether it's after a big play, whether it's a 3rd down to push them back, it's 3rd and long. Something definitely needs to be addressed at halftime, I'm sure, by Coach Fox and his staff.
So luckily for the Knights, I mean, there was a good gain on 1st down. So there's still less than 10 yards to go on 2nd. But that just changes your play calling a little bit.
Yeah, and push you out of field goal range. Oh, good ball.
The pass, the catch, the touchdown, Petit.
Tell you what, man, I love the game plan tonight. If one thing they're doing is not hooking with is their skill, is their perimeter game. They got young receivers on the outside. But I tell you what, they're getting the ball to their playmakers' hands, and I tell you what, he is having a half today.
And that was pretty good coverage again, but Petit just shot out of there like he was coming out of a cannon, and the pass was right on the money. So Nordonia did what they wanted on that offensive possession, and Rafferty is in to try to make it officially 14-point deficit. Who gets it to go? There's Petit's parents too on the screen.
And it's just to me, it's just impressive overall, coaching. I feel like, we've seen Nordonia's offense all year, and we haven't seen Israel much offensively. I mean, we've seen him out there, but obviously his bread and butter is playing that secondary role for their defensive side of the ball. But they probably know. Obviously, they know the implications of today's game, and the importance of coming away with the win here. And they're really, really feeding him offensively here, and he's having a day in the first half so far.
Yeah, he's got to be getting close to 100 yards receiving.
It's like 4 catches, 74 yards, and a touchdown here.
2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. Yeah. So you're right. That might be over 100 yards for him.
Well, that's a good evidence, too, that Nordonia can hurt Wadsworth in the passing game, because they really came out and it felt like tried to establish the run and just pound it. And Wadsworth stood tough. Now the Knights are mixing it up a little bit. And I feel like the passing success, too, is opening De Lorenzo up even more.
Yeah. And like you mentioned, Pete, you are right. Petit, 122 yards in the first half, 5 catches, 2 touchdowns. He's on track for a career day tonight.
That one a 30-plus yarder. There's a look at the student section. You see everybody wearing black tonight for Safe Decisions Week. Thanks again to Joe Gaba and his wife Jill for sponsoring the jerseys through State Farm. And now, interestingly, too, I don't know how aggressive Jeff Fox is going to get, but Nordonia still has 3 timeouts.
Yeah,
So
they
if
do.
Wadsworth comes out here and gets to 3rd down,
that's a great point.
I wouldn't be shocked to see Nordonia say, hey, why don't we – maybe we can even get the ball back one more time.
Yeah.
Now, that's assuming a lot because Wadsworth's offense has been awesome tonight. Will Stack has been the maestro of that office. The senior has been outstanding. Has not made a mistake tonight. This will be a draw. Coming back, and this is a nice tackle. That's Blake Allen coming from the corner position with the stick.
What a tackle.
Smartly went low and wrapped up. And so that'll be a quick timeout from Nordonia after a 1-yard loss. I love Allen's game, and I've liked it all year. So 46 seconds still. It almost feels like the Knights took about a quarter to wake up, and maybe there's too much excitement with homecoming, or maybe just, I don't know, maybe the factor of Wadsworth and, the 41-14 victory last year. Maybe it was just something about, the timing being a tiny bit off early.
I agree. It definitely, as we mentioned earlier in the game, it just didn't like they had the energy. And again, it's tough when your schedules change pregame. Obviously homecoming, and you got a packed house here, which is night in, night out here, obviously. And night at the night stadium. But again, they got to figure it out. That's something that we saw earlier in the year as well. They gotta really, really bring that energy and that intensity to start the game. Hopefully they'll do so to start the second half.
2nd and 11 now. No running backs in the background for Stack. He's going to take it himself on a design draw, but Nordonia's defense is there, and he gets 3. Another timeout.
I like the game plan, especially when you got a kicker like Rafferty who shows that he can kick it deep. So,
good point.
You give them a chance here. Might be able to put some more points up for the half.
You see Mike Bell. He's down there working on the defense.
Coach Bell, man. One thing, that I love about Coach Bell is that he definitely is a player's coach. He's a guy that gains great relationships with his players, and he's just a great person to be around.
Yeah, always positive, and everyone had nothing but good things to say about him when he was the Twinsburg head coach, and just like a class act, and a guy that's just going to kind of roll up his sleeves and do the work.
Yeah, I tell you, Coach Fox definitely has some heavy hitters on the staff there. Coach Sanders, shout out Coach Sanders. He wanted me to give him a shout out today on the football on the sidelines. He mentioned, you better talk about my running backs, and they've done a great job this year.
Absolutely,
as we mentioned, De Lorenzo, man, he's a force to be reckoned with, and like you mentioned, he's their backup technically.
Yep.
Perrine, that name here in Nordonia is big time here. He's been out, I think, since roughly week 2 or 3.
At halftime, after you see a snippet of our candidate show, you're going to talk to the Nordonia band, and this is going to be a 1st down. And man, what a tough pill to swallow for Nordonia's defense. Figure Eight took that east-west handoff, cut it up the field, and just broke too many tackles. And nice cutback there.
You can tell they're coached that. They're definitely coached to do that because all their ball handlers, ball carriers do that. They don't look to hit the perimeter. They look to see once they hit that gap, see that hole, putting their foot getting upfield.
Well, there's on field a familiar face for Browns fans. We got Myles Garrett, arguably the best defensive player in the NFL, is on site tonight, doing selfies and everything.
Big Miles over there.
Wonder if he's going to get in the locker room and give a little bit of a speech at halftime, because that would fire the team up. Talk a little defense.
Yes, it would.
That's pretty cool.
That is sweet.
That's going to do it, though, for the first half. Nordonia, 2 touchdowns in the second quarter, have cut into this lead. Wadsworth still up 28-14 at the half. Stick around for our candidate show as well as the Nordonia band right after this on Focus Sports.
Welcome to the Candidates Dialogue 2023. I am Tony Dunlap, and I am here today with the candidates running for the Nordonia Hills City School Board's 2 available seats. We will begin with the candidates telling us a little bit about themselves, and we're going to start with Mr. Ellis, Mr. Armour, and then Ms. McKinney.
My name's Tim Ellis. I am a 1989 graduate of Nordonia High School. I have 3 children that attend the district. I've been married to my wife. We live in Sagamore Hills. We've been married for 23 years, so it's been quite a while. We built our home in Sagamore about 13 years ago and don't ever intend to leave. So we're invested in this community. We are very proud to live in this community. I'm a police officer in Sagamore Hills, so I have worked and served in the community for about 20 years. And I'm looking forward to a seat on the school board to bring some change, some much needed change to our school district and move it forward into the future.
Thank you. Mr. Lorimer.
My name is Chad Larmer. I am a Board of Education member of Nordonia Schools for the last 9 years. I am running for re-election on November 7th. I'm a 1992 graduate of Nordonia and have lived here since 1975. Some people feel the main issues of this election are safety, finances, and communication. While these issues are important, if you're not talking about academic achievement and student success first and foremost, then you're missing the point of what our job as a school board member is. Since I have been on the board, Nordonia students have achieved at the highest levels of academic excellence in school district history, ranking in the top sphere of schools in the state. We have a nationally acclaimed music program. Our advanced placement classes have increased from 12 to 24. In 2022, our high school students were taking 460 college classes for 1,187 college credits. Nordonia graduates go on to college and trade schools and military, while others are ready to go right into the workforce. The state of Ohio recently released their public school district rankings. Once again, Nordonia is rated a 5-star district, the highest ranking. Out of 17 school districts in Summit County, Nordonia is one of only 4 districts to attain this. Nordonia is academically in the top 4 school districts in the county while having the 4th lowest tax rate over the last 9 years. Now is not time for change. Now is a time for us to continue full speed ahead with everything we have been doing that has made us one of the best school districts in the state of Ohio. I have always and will always have your students' academic achievement and success at the top of my list. I have a proven record when it comes to communication and safety. I am a certified public accountant and have a great understanding of school finances. I am asking for your vote on November 7th.
Thank you. Ms. McKinley.
Hello, Nordonia. My name is Liz McKinley, and I am running for re-election to the Nordonia Hills Board of Education. I have served on the board for 8 years and would like the privilege to continue to serve the Nordonia Hills community. My husband, Sean, and I brought 2 young children to Macedonia almost 20 years ago and added 2 children to our family since the move. Now we have 2 Nordonia graduates and 2 current Knights. This is my 24th year as an educator. My undergrad in elementary education is from the University of Akron, and my master's from Ashland University is in curriculum and instruction. I am licensed by the state of Ohio in grades 1 through 8, and I hold a reading endorsement. I have worked with children up through 6th grade and in small groups and pullouts, and I have taught self-contained 5th grade, 2nd grade, and 1st grade. I have spent 20 years of my career teaching primary age children how to read. In the past 8 years, I have served as a liaison to the Curriculum Advisory Council, Special Education, and NDEIC. I also became part of OSBA's Northeast Region's Executive Committee, where I represent Nordonia. And I serve as the district's OSBA liaison and student achievement liaison. Our district has earned a 5-star rating for the 2nd year in a row and is one of only 4 districts in Summit County to do so. We are we need at this point to keep our focus on academic strength while offering enriching opportunities for our Knights at all levels.
Tech, Notre Dame. Scenes from the Louvre, and finally, An American in Paris by George Gershwin. Our soloists tonight include Natalie Wood, Kathy Hirsch, Natalie Wysocki, Cindy Wagner, Alex Ellsbury, Priya Gupta, Christian Chang, Colin Kennery, Chris Fox, Patrick Hilliard, and Drew Rosenblum. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy our competition show, A Day in Paris. I would like to say thank you to our Nordonia band boosters, the administration, and the entire Nordonia community for their tremendous support this year. Band directors, students, and families would like to thank the following staff members who assisted the band in making a successful competition show that it is. They include visual instructor Emily Estelle, woodwind instructors Nick Fry, Lydia Logan, and Michael Atkinson, brass instructors Emily Estelle, Chris Estelle, David Abdul, and Brett.
We're back at Nordonia. It's 28-14 at the half on homecoming weekend here in Macedonia, Ohio. Pete Hansberger, Dominique Sanders are with you, bringing you this Focus Sports action. Dominique, has been an exciting second quarter. Nordonia started really slow, spotted Wadsworth, several touchdowns before they really got going, but you kind of feel some Knights momentum here toward the end of the first half. What did you see out of the Knights, and what do you need to see in the second half?
Early I see a lot of Rocco De Lorenzo and a whole lot of Israel Petit offensively. Not really much more. I think you got to keep definitely keeping those two involved because they're kind of keeping the ship afloat for the Knights. Defensively, they're doing their part what they can when they're provided with the field position. I think obviously Wadsworth has a potent running attack right now led by Will Stack and obviously in the air game, Drew Jones has made some plays, but you look for Nordonia to come out and start to have strong defensively here to kind of get back into flow.
It feels like it's really been a three-headed beast for Wadsworth. It's been the quarterback Stack and then Figueroa both running and catching the ball. There was the blocked punt, which didn't help Nordonia, but Stack just running the ball, throwing it, and then Drew Jones was the other guy who's made some big plays in that passing game. For Nordonia, you mentioned De Lorenzo, he's been solid. Chester's had a couple really nice throws when he's had time to throw the football with. It's been Petit, like you said, he's pretty much been the show on offense for Nordonia. He's got 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards receiving. Ben Chester, really good stats, 8 for 12 for 135 and 2 touchdowns. I think for Nordonia, it was early on getting themselves into 3rd and long and then 4th and medium situations, with tough field position, a couple times not able to convert and either have to punt or don't get it on 4th down, really put them behind the 8 ball.
I like Big Chester, he's had an amazing first half. He's made some strikes on the sideline, and he's done a great job offensively tonight. How about big fella in the house tonight, huh?
Yeah, Myles Garrett. Everybody's speculating on what brought him to the game tonight. Was it just that he heard it was a big game in town, or was Denzel Ward in his ear a little bit saying, you got to check out this Nordonia team? Either way, a lot of people getting pictures with Myles. He's still out there. That's pretty cool. I'd love to see him stick around, and maybe Nordonia can get a little bit of bump from seeing him. It's cool, though. He's talking to everybody, and you see him hanging out with the kids. It looked like he was giving some football advice to 5 or 6 kids with the Nordonia youth jerseys on, which, everything we heard about him is he loves hanging out with kids. Down there with Gino Perrine, actually, right now. Perrine, we mentioned, is one of those running back, linebacker combinations, a long line of Perrines in Nordonia who I think they were expecting big things out of this season. He's just been banged up. Speaking of banged up, the offensive line of Wadsworth is really doing some moving of people in the first half, and we came in excited to see how that would match up with Nordonia's defensive line and then linebacking core. And it feels like Nordonia's linebackers haven't been able to run free as much as they have in most of the other games this season because that big offensive line is making things hard.
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, they have some hogs up front, and I think, again, it's something like you mentioned, Nordonia hasn't seen throughout the year, maybe through Hudson, but again, or not Hudson, through Berea Mid-Park up front. But again, other than that, they really haven't had that test. So, look to see what kind of adjustments both coaches make here in the second half because, a lot of implications on the line here tonight.
We know Nordonia, with the offense they run, can score in a hurry, and we've seen with Petit and the ability to throw by Chester that they can get up and down the field. Wadsworth has showed the same, though. I mean, in some years, Wadsworth has had a really pounded-out running game, and then in some years they've had a wide-open, throw-it almost every time passing game. And this year they've got a little bit of both. So we could see some fireworks in the second half, and I'm sure there was some pretty strong messaging by Jeff Fox and the Nordonia coaching staff about how they want to show up in this second half for the home crowd. Connell Rafferty has another boot into the end zone as he's done that each time tonight. Connell's, that's just a weapon to have.
It is, man. Especially, at this level where a lot of returns are taken back for great field position and, if not, touchdowns.
A lot of good kickers from the Nordonia program over the years. Lastofka now, freshman at Youngstown State. He's kicking for them and got his kick against Ohio State in the horseshoe a couple weeks ago, which has got to be pretty cool. And a former basketball player, I'm drawing a blank on his name, was the kicker at Nordonia for a couple years too.
Oh, man.
Trying to remember his name, but a nice basketball player as well as a good kicker. And Nordonia's defense had a shot right there to cause no gain as they were in the right position, but there's just the talent of Kyle Figueroa. He's a big back, but he's got some moves as well. He ends up picking up 5.5 on first down. And he'll take it again. The same play the other way. Nordonia's there again. It's just they can't make the play right around the line of scrimmage. And this is going to be close to a first down.
Yeah, it looked like he gave a little stutter there. Change of speed, change of direction. Maybe he was kind of deciding if he wanted to cut upfield here. You see here, or take it outside. He makes that commitment outside. And he's able to gain some positive yards for a first down.
You would think with the speed of Nordonia's linebackers and safeties and corners that it'd be hard to run side to side on the nights tonight, but Wadsworth is doing a lot of that. This will be a rollout. Stack is probably going to run it himself. He's going to get hit hard after picking up about 4. And something to say about Nordonia's defensive backfield right there, not giving him anywhere to throw the football. And you see Stack almost had a pick in the first half. I wonder if he was thinking about that. No turnovers in the game, surprisingly. In the entire first half, Stack will take it again himself, and he gets hit hard, which will bring up a 3rd and short.
Minus the punt, only one.
Yep. Jordan Jackson was in there. First time we've called his name tonight, the big D lineman, 255. He wears number 99. And this is a chance for that home crowd to make some noise. Third and long one. It's going to be a pass, and it's incomplete.
Surprising they didn't just run the ball.
Got a little bit cute on 3rd and 1.5. And a decision to make. It looks like the punting unit's going on the field, and this is an area where you've got to be thinking about a fake.
I'll tell you what, they're going to do exactly what they need to do there to start the half. Now they'll get the possession here offensively in here and try and capitalize.
4th down. This will be a punt by Wadsworth, so they'll play it conservatively, try to go for field position. That ball's going to bounce inside the 20 and picked up there smartly before it went any further. And that's exactly what Nordonia wanted to do. They did give up 1 first down, but then put the clamps on. Not a ton of time off the clock either, less than 2.5 minutes. So very much a ball game here.
I'll tell you what, man, if the Knights can get a score here, it'd be huge for them. Momentum-wise.
There's our guy. Is that Rob Hare?
Yeah, that's Rob.
One of our camera guys down there chatting up with Miles, showing him his parlay. On 1st and 10, this is going to be a run. De Lorenzo, not a ton of daylight. There's Coach King showing his intensity. He's got to be happy with that first defensive possession played out.
Yeah, definitely. You know, get the defense on off the field quickly. Ball back to the offense here to score here.
Another run as Nordonia just sticks with that.
He has some room there.
And if he hadn't been tripped up, it looked like he was about ready to squirt through that hole. But still a good pickup. Now 3rd and 1. This is where Nordonia wants to be. I mean, they'll take 3rd and 1 all day. Don't be surprised to see the same play to the same guy. And we got a little bit of trickery. This is going to be a pass back to the quarterback. And Chester was out there, but you're right. He was open, and then Wadsworth recovered. That was Tommy Hone. But pretty well executed by Nordonia. The throw was by Mike Ebert. And a good recovery because that looked like it was going to be wide open.
Room there, just underthrown a little bit Tough throw by running back. Oh, he's pushing.
Hermensky, and looks like the referee's standing at a first down, or the line judge, but it's going to depend on the spot here.
Looks like he got it.
And I think everybody in the stadium knew what was happening when Hermensky came out there. But he did get hit right about the line of scrimmage. It took a push there from DK Liverpool, number 75, one of the linemen. Another run for the Knights. It's at 3 to 4 yards and a cloud of black pellets on the turf. We mentioned that De Lorenzo was going to get about 20, 25 carries. We didn't realize it would be at halftime. This will be play action. They're going deep.
Open.
Wide open.
Oh, good catch.
What a catch there by Petit. If the throw had hit him a little bit closer, it would have been a touchdown, but Chester gave him a shot, and the senior did the rest. I mean, what a diving catch. He has been a star. This will be another pass and nearly intercepted. That time, Wadsworth was reading the eyes of Chester. Jacob Ernest should have picked that thing off.
Looks like Chester didn't see him. The linebacker dropped out in coverage and was able to make a play.
There's another look at the previous play from Petit that set up the Knights. And De Lorenzo with a big gain there, which helps Nordonia out quite a bit. And I wonder if some of this, Dominique, is about the fact that Chester's still pretty inexperienced at quarterback. It's even though he's shown that he can make those big throws, I wonder if the coaches are trying to help him find his way here before you just let him loose throwing the ball like 35 times a night.
And like you mentioned, especially with the success of De Lorenzo here tonight, he's definitely done a great job of taking the load of the pressure off of Chester behind center.
Big possession here, 3rd and 5. It'll be a run. Turning the corner there. And that's a first down. So now the offensive line is starting to impose their will a little bit. And we said first down, but now I'm seeing a 4 next to that yard marker. So my eyes deceived me a little bit. It's going to be 4th and 1, probably less than 1. Here. And Nordonia's going to need to snap the ball quickly. They're going for it. And it's going to be a snap, looked like a quick snap.
Oh, we got it. We got smacked.
There was a little bit of trickery right there.
Contact going on down there.
And it's a first down, Nordonia.
Good job, Mike. You doing to hang in there?
Watch this. That was a snap that Ebert tried to hide behind the center. He just crouched down there and took this quick snap, and he didn't get it by much, but he got it.
Utility man right there. Huge pickup. First down. Oh!
A bullet over the middle was looking for Ebert and thrown a little bit behind him. But, man, how about the confidence of Chester to rifle that thing into traffic?
Oh, yeah. He's definitely brought his confidence here this drive. I like the attempt here. It's a little bit behind Mike there.
He's running that square-in route, and this will be a handoff on 2nd down. Not much there, but a little bit more progress toward the goal. And this would be an interesting call. I don't know if you have a take on this. Say Nordonia only gets a couple yards here on 3rd down. Do they kick the field goal and take the points, or do they roll the dice?
Yeah, that's a tough call. Personally, I probably would take the points here, especially with there being a lot of time left in the game. But you can't argue and go wrong with the fact, analytically, it probably would be best suited to go for it.
This will be a rollout. Chester needs to get rid of it. Man, wide open. And he overthrew his intended target.
Yeah, if he had a little bit more time there, he'd have been able to step into that.
In Chester's defense, he had men in his face. But he had to see his receiver, and that was Danny Hours, was running free. And you know he wants that throwback. So Nordonia, looking at a 4th and 8, is going to elect to try for the field goal. This will be about a 28-yarder. From the left hash, it is up. It's got the distance, and it's no good. So he just pulled it a tiny bit to the right. And a lot of real estate carved up there by Nordonia. Here's another look. We did not miss it by much at all. It almost went right over top of the goalpost. But a lot of real estate chewed up for 0 points. And I wonder if that's the type of drive you look at after the game and think, man, if we had gotten points there.
Yeah, a good drive. Way to march downfield. Obviously didn't end the drive the way they wanted, but I think they found a few things that they can go back to as the game progresses.
Look at this. Nordonia saying it's good. Wadsworth's on the field saying it's no good, and that was about as close as it could get. So Wadsworth takes over. And it's up to Nordonia's defense again to try to make something happen, but it's not going to work on first down. As Figure has plenty of space up the middle. That first down gets him out to the 31. This will be a quick pass to the man in the slot. And he'll turn the corner for another 6 or 7. Nathan Metzger's first catch of the night.
See, well, they have a good balance, Wadsworth. They have a lot of speedsters and they have a lot of power guys, and they do a good job of kind of sharing the wealth with those playmakers.
So he got run out after 5 yards. Ball's on the 36. This will be a design quarterback keeper by Stack, and he was jumping around there and nearly got himself loose, but he was tripped up about a yard short. And I mentioned there still hasn't been a turnover in the game. Now would be a good time if you're an Nordonia fan to see one. So the last time Wadsworth had the ball, they were about the same spot, 3rd and 1, and they decided to try to swing the ball out instead of just run it. I bet you'll see more of a pounded out type play call right now. And you will. Straight up the gut, and they run into a host of Knights. Nordonia is right there, led by Vince Hack.
What a play.
Jackson was in there as well, but Vinny and Hermensky were the first two put a hurt on the running back. And now it's going to be 4th and less than a yard. This part of the field, a lot of coaches are still going to punt the ball, but again, this would be prime time for a fake. Yep, there it is. The run forward, he's going to get hit, and he's close, and he didn't get much, but he got a first down. So Gavin Madigan took the direct snap as the up back and
almost had him there.
Yep, that's one where you feel like the coaches are probably yelling from the sideline, fake, fake, fake. And
it's coming.
It's still hard to stop a guy from getting a couple inches. So time to regroup for Nordonia. Figure, there's the fake. He's going to get it anyway, and he'll get positive yardage. Man, he's so tough to take down. Even if you hit him straight on. Actually, I was going to say that was a Madigan.
I tell you what, he looked downfield initially. It was great coverage by looked like Petit on the perimeter and checked back down to his back and was able to get positive yards.
I bet Wadsworth's probably connected on some huge plays on that one where you fake the swing pass and you go deep. So good discipline by Nordonia. And here again, breaking tackles is Kyle Figure, and he'll pick up the first down. He probably should have been tackled after about 2 yards.
Yeah, it looked like a nice rapid jet counter here, and they were able to kind of be in position. You can see here, just not wrapping up and driving their feet. That's a load to take down in 4 quarters.
This time the Nordonia goes low and high, and they hit him for a loss. Vinny Hack in there again, Jordan Jackson again, along with Caleb Aiken. So Aiken in there, didn't see him much in the first half. Definitely some adjustments being made by both teams. 4 receivers to the bottom of the screen, and they've got blockers out in front of figure 8.
Holding call out here.
But the Knights came up and made a big play on defense to stop that.
Yeah, it looks like they got away here with a holding call here.
Yeah, it looked like it.
Danny Howard's able to click shit that block and make a play.
Looked like Natalia was getting held out there, number 5. But no call, and that'll bring up another big third down. Same formation, opposite way, and Stack's going to take it himself. A beautiful spin move, but Nordonia recovers. That's Hermensky.
You what, man? Hermensky's having a day today. He's all over the football field offensively and defensively. He's one of the guys down there that's been doing a great job of securing tackles.
So inside the 40, this is a time where Wadsworth has some options. They can punt it and try to really pin Nordonia back, or they can figure out how to get 6 yards. I'm thinking they're probably going to call timeout here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to let the clock run down as low as it will go until the play clock hits 1. The Wadsworth coaching staff will call timeout, and they'll discuss what to do. So in addition to football this fall, we've been doing Focus Sports Soccer. We've gotten nearly each of our teams, Nordonia, Twinsburg, and Aurora, boys and girls on the channel. But next week, October 3rd, hard to believe it's October already, but we'll have Nordonia boys and girls, and then the following week, boys next week, the following week on the 11th, girls soccer against the Kent Roosevelt Rough Riders.
That Aurora team, we've seen all year how physical they are. Kind of a resemblance of Wadsworth.
Yeah.
You know, the way that the style of football they play. Their quarterback is not involved in the run game as much, but they're very strong up front. You know, they run the football consistently through 4 quarters, and it's that smash mouth kind of football style.
Aurora 5-1, playing Talmadge tonight. Didn't have an updated score when we were at halftime here, but got to imagine the Greenmen are favored in that game. And then Twinsburg is playing Brush tonight. I saw 42-7. They were up at the half over the Arcs. So potential for all 3 of our viewing area schools to make the playoffs this season as Wadsworth comes screaming out of the huddle. And they're going to run a quick play here on 4th down. Stack is flushed. He's going to run for it and get the first down.
Big play. Yeah, that's a backbone. You have everybody covered downfield. N doesn't keep contained, and he's able to scramble for a first down.
And a lot of faking going on, but nobody there on defense on that end for Nordonia to force him back inside. And that's a smart play by a quarterback as well, who knows where those empty running spaces are. So 1st and 10 inside the 30. Done a lot of empty backfields for Wadsworth.
The coverage downfield.
The last second, Stack found a receiver, picked up a couple. That's Reese Simmons, number 88, the junior. So he got 4 officially. And Nordonia's had several chances on this drive to get the football back.
Yeah, they have.
The first of which was a 4th and 1 where Wadsworth faked the punt. Then most recently, 4th and 6.
You know, it's very kind of gutsy that Wadsworth is going for it on 4th down here, this possession here.
Here comes Stack. Couple of juke moves, heads to the corner of the end zone and dove for the pylon, but got upended about a yard short. He just showed juke after juke.
He is, and I tell you what, the one thing is when he tucks it, he's going. You know, he's not second guessing himself, pulling it back down to maybe potentially throw it. He tucked, he's looking to get upfield and make a play.
There was one where sometimes you see that ball come out when he's holding it like that at the end. But Stack is a savvy veteran. He's starting to rack up some yards running the football too, as he has not been sacked tonight. First and goal now on the 2-yard line. Stack will take it himself and he'll walk into the end zone. As the lead is now up to 34-14. Wadsworth converts on 2 4th downs on that drive. After Nordonia went all the way down the field, got inside the red zone, had a wide open receiver in the end zone that was just slightly overthrown, ended up missing a field goal, and then all the way down the field the other way. So, you know, it went from potential 7-point game to a 21-point game again.
How often do we see that, man? We see just one play here and there, just being that back burner play that kind of just dwindles down to multiple consecutive plays that just don't go in the team's direction, their favor.
So that's where we're at with 34 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. The Grizzlies have come to play tonight, and they've taken some counter punches from Nordonia, as you saw good blocking on that play, and probably a little bit of a worn-down defense after a long drive. There have been times tonight where it felt like Nordonia was building momentum and getting the crowd going and on their side, but they've just continued to stifle that. So the Grizzlies will tee it up again. There's Israel Petit, who's doing his best from an Nordonia standpoint. Jack Dinwiddie is the kicker for Wadsworth. He's had some nice boots as the student section for the Grizzlies starting to get fired up. This time he's going to keep it low, and it'll bounce into the end zone, automatic touchback. Well, a little more than a quarter to play. Nordonia is going to make a move. They're going to have to do it pretty quickly. Flag on the field. And it's a personal foul on Nordonia. Didn't see that from up here. Didn't see any contact. You know, maybe we missed it. It could have been some trash talk back and forth. But that'll back up the Knights. They will take Nordonia all the way back to the 10-yard line, is where they'll start 1st and 10. This will be a run on 1st down and a couple yards, as the Knights are going to continue to stay committed to the run.
So that might be the last play of the quarter here.
Clock's under 20.
Yeah, maybe not.
Chester looking at the sideline, and he's going to throw the football here. At least look to do so. He's got a man in the middle, and it's picked off. The return is coming back inside the 10, and this will be a pick 6 for the Grizzlies.
What a play.
How about the sophomore phenom, Gavin Madigan? He is a stud.
I tell you what, man, he is. That's just a playmaker right there. Reading the the eyes of the quarterback and able to break tackles and take a 6. It's just a heck of a play by a sophomore, like you mentioned.
So on the last play of the third quarter, Chester makes that fatal mistake where he threw late over the middle. And you could see he was looking, and decided kind of last minute to fire it over the middle there. Receiver fell down, but Madigan was right there. Kick is good again by Dinwiddie, and we are now at 42-14 with 12 minutes to play.
Not what we expected, huh?
Oh man, the last 3 minutes, 5 minutes or so have been a major swing in terms of momentum. But we do want to acknowledge and recognize Israel Petit in the Nordonia record. But there's another look at that pick 6. Madigan had been huge on offense tonight, and now he shows up with a huge play on defense. There's Coach Fox trying to figure out what's the strategy here for the fourth quarter. We want to mention how Nordonia got to this 6-0 start, as it looks like that undefeated season is starting to be threatened. They started 16-8 for Bedford. Then you mentioned Berea Mid-Park, Mayfield, they took care of. Solon won for the first time in 38 years against the Comets. Blanked to North Royalton, and then last week came back to defeat Twinsburg. Next week is Hudson, which is another huge task before finishing the season, Stowe and Brexmore. A lot of banging going on by the Wadsworth coaching staff next door.
That pick 6, man, they went wild on that pick 6.
A lot of enthusiasm. And here's a return from the Knights. Breaking a tackle is Petit. And the Knights will start a fresh set of downs right about the 30. Good stiff arm there by Israel. So looking at Nordonia's schedule, Hudson next week, a chance to get remotivated after tonight and see if they can knock off the Explorers, who always have a big offensive line and a good running game as well.
Yeah, and they're going to have a similar style, like you mentioned. You're going to have to be able to win the battle up front to have any chance of winning that game for sure.
There's first down as a completion, quick out to the corner, and that's Brendan Shattuck.
Hudson's a team we haven't seen this year.
Right.
I know they just recently lost, I believe, Trey Sharp to a quick injury. He's a pretty good skill player for those guys. But I do know they've had success all year in that run game, defensively as well. And they got a couple of hogs up front that are big time and a couple of Division I offers. So it'll be a good matchup and a good test.
Good shot of the Nordonia cheerleaders working hard, not getting nearly enough credit for the hard work that they do to keep the fans and the team going on every Friday night. Well, I saw some pretty cool band shows. Wadsworth always brings it from a band standpoint. Nordonia just keeps upgrading with the technology and the creativity of their performances. This will be a run play on 1st and 10, and that's second effort, maybe third effort. It's happening. I wonder if that's Liam Kuntz down there. Hard for me to see that number at the moment. And the Knights coaching staff continuing to coach the team up in the fourth quarter, even down by 4 touchdowns. Quick out route on second down will pick up some yardage. That's Collins. That'll bring up 3rd and 1. Chester's going to try to roll out and nearly went down, but
set a blocker. Oh,
tried to dive forward for it, and
he's short, maybe a half a yard.
That'll be close, but Nordonia's going to go for this.
Expect maybe a QB sneak here.
Yep, there it is under center. And Chester dives forward, probably had it, but we've got penalties. And I don't know if everybody was set before the ball was snapped. Well, we came in here tonight, Dominique, with a little pep in our step, thinking this is going to be a huge game tonight. It's been a little bit different than we expected. And, you know, I was not thinking that with 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, the game would all but be decided.
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, a wake-up call. You know, obviously everything has gone their way for Nordonia this season, coming in at 6-0. And, you know, as a head coach, yeah, it's disappointing the effort that you come out here tonight, what you display here tonight. But I tell you what, man, it's something that you can learn from, bounce back from, take some clips on the film session. I show it all because, again, you don't need to show it all. They understand, you know, that they didn't bring their A game tonight. But it's something they can learn from as they move on. You got to have short-term memory, you know, who's coming in next week.
So that penalty, I believe, is pending whether Nordonia got the first down. So I think Wadsworth has the option, because it was an illegal shift, the option to decline it if they didn't get it. And now the Knights did get it. So I wonder if we'll see how this plays out here. Yeah, it looked like that was not a great spot for the Knights, because Chester did dive forward. He got a little bit extra, but he got it by about 2 inches. And now I wonder if that means the ball will then get moved back and it'll be 4th and 5.
Take that penalty now.
Yep. So that's significant, at least for now, because if Nordonia didn't get it, Wadsworth would have just taken the football right there. Funny, there's still a yellow flag down on the field as the Wadsworth corner is pointing at it. You're going to pick it up. So the Knights need to get to the 38. Clock is stopped at 10:56. Chester's looking. Guy fell down. Nice pitch and catch across the 50. Petit again. I think we've got a pretty clear-cut focus picks impact player in the game tonight.
He's brought his A game.
Ben is going to throw it again. He is in trouble, though. And he took a little too much time back there in the pocket. And that's something that he's going to continue to learn,
too.
Learn
to step up, a little quicker, with a little bit more authority in that pocket, which he'll learn. I like how he's standing in there, though.
Luke Ryder gets the sack. And the line play was there. Just Chester, I like how he kept his eyes downfield. And eventually that internal clock's got to kick in. He'll take it himself this time on the quarterback keeper and pick up about 2. Well, both teams got away with a couple, should have been interceptions in this game, and it's starting to look like nobody would turn it over, and then really taking all the wind out of Nordonia's sails right before the end of the third quarter was that pick 6. But still fighting on both sides.
I'll tell you what, both teams still fighting. The Wadsworth still flying to the football. Nordonia still sticking true to their game plan here.
Liam Kuntz is going to take that run, and looks like the Knights are going to punt. That was one of the big plays in the first half, was the block punt, as Wadsworth got it and set themselves up with that 2-possession lead. And this is another fake by Nordonia. They're going to try to throw the football, so it was like a jump pass, and it was there, but whoever tried to throw the ball just got a little too close to the line.
I'll tell you what, if they were connected on that, he has some space.
That was a cool play design. I've never seen that before in a fake punt. And it's like, at this point, might as well give that a shot. At least put it on film. I think the ball got tipped actually right at the line of scrimmage because he had his man. Now the defense comes back out for Nordonia. And imagine this is the time of the game when, as a coach, you start to think about, like, making sure people don't get hurt on both sides.
I'll tell you what, Wadsworth, they're not going to back down here, especially with these seedings. They're going to try and score, get as many points as they can, to kind of, again, make this victory seem as much lopsided as possible.
Well, if we get a minute here, too, I want to look up some of the computer points to see what the current situation is for both of these schools. I mean, like we said at the beginning of the game, both of them likely playoff bound. It's just a matter of where they'll be seated. Nordonia's been a long Division II, Region 5. They're currently sitting at number 4 in the region, behind Walsh, Hoban, and Riverside. Now, Walsh is getting demolished by Hoban, which seems to recruit about as good as Alabama football.
And I'll tell you what, I remember a couple years ago, Hoban was playing Maple Heights in the, I think this. I remember they were subbing in 10s, 11s. They were legit subbing.
A line change?
Whole entire defensive change every 3-4 plays.
So region-wise, Nordonia is 4th. So that this loss is going to drop them a little bit, but probably not in a crippling sort of way. Twinsburg, who's a viewing area team, is in the same region. They're currently sitting at 19th, although they're winning tonight against Brush. So the top 16 teams in each region are going to get into the playoffs, as Figueroa has himself another nice gain and a first down. Still is, I think they still are Division I. Let's see if I can track down their region for everybody. And believe it or not, Wadsworth is just behind St. Ed's right now in Division I, Region 1, as they are 3rd at 5-1. And that win over Hudson definitely did big things for them. And this one will as well.
Oh, yeah, well.
This is going to be an option pitch to the right and some good speed on the side. I thought that was going to be a loss. Yeah, Kent McKinley is number 1 in that region right now. St. Ed's is 2, Wadsworth 3, Cleveland Heights 4, Massimo Jackson 5. So Menor and Medina, they're going to get themselves some wins toward the end of the season, though, so they'll be climbing back up, you have to think. Elsewhere, Aurora, one of our teams, is currently sitting at 6th in Division III, Region 9.
With 5-1 record, too, huh?
Yep.
Tough region.
So they're 6 behind Youngstown Ursuline, who's in a battle tonight with St. Vincent St. Mary. Villa Angela St. Joe's, Geneva, Kenston, and Gilmore Academy. And you got to think Aurora's going to keep climbing, and they played Barberton, who beat them last year toward the end of the season, and then Medina Highland, who that's a beast of a team every season.
Yes.
So a couple big ones to finish the season for Aurora, and big games again, like we said, for Twinsburg, as well as, they've been close. I mean, they played Wadsworth a lot closer than tonight's score.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago.
It was almost a victory.
They did the same to Hudson and Nordonia last week. You got to think, Twinsburg will be 3-4 after tonight. If they can find a way to beat a Brecksville, a Stowe,
and a North Royalton team.
And a North Royalton, I mean, that puts them, 5-5, 6-4. They are very much in the conversation. Stack still in the game. Starting QB is going to do that throwback that was successful for a touchdown earlier. This time the throw's a little wide. Good defense by Nordonia. That time they weren't fooled.
Wadsworth may have a legal man downfield that play. Like big number 66 got too far downfield there.
I love seeing that on film.
They want some love too. That's why.
That makes me it makes me chuckle a little bit when I see the big man all the way down the field. Like, if they're going to get down the field, you got to throw him the ball. Trying to see if we can track down some other scores as well that are currently in progress. Painesville Riverside and Nordonia's region continues to roll on this season. They're now 7-0. Hoban Walsh 57-7. Something different in the water around the Hoban campus. Stack is going to throw on 4th down, and he has got a completion where his receiver took a pop but held on. Caden Shriver. And Stack again completes. I mean, that maybe just as much as anything else, that's been the story of the night.
Yeah, he's all over the football field making plays. He's a risk taker, man. Some of these throws we've seen him take incomplete has definitely changed the course of the outcome of the game.
And I feel like it's been, the constant conversions of 3rd and 4th down, as well as the inability of Nordonia to finish drives. Because the Knights have been in the red zone quite a bit. They've had a couple of those sort of like turnkey moments where the game could have turned. And Stack and all of his juke moves continues to roll forward.
Like, I'm a fan of this kid. He's a competitor. He's playing every play 110 miles an hour. He's not giving up no matter the score. He's a football player for sure.
He's a guy that I feel like if you saw in the hallway in street clothes, you would not think that he's this type of electric and tough presence. But
he's smart. Just the IQ, the intelligence, staying in bounds.
Good things come in small packages sometimes. As Coach Todd and the Grizzlies are loving this outcome tonight. Another look.
2 jump cuts here just shows his shiftiness, and he's able to elude himself from tackers and almost score a touchdown. I think we got a penalty on that play, though. Holding.
Okay.
So it may have been after he got the first down.
And this will be batted down, nearly intercepted by the Knights. As that's Asher Wilson. First time we've called his name tonight, the big man wearing 95. He's had an outstanding season.
He is.
Still a lot of good things to come for him. Now 2nd and 13. Stack will take it around the end, and he is wide open to the end zone. So he just continues to pile up the stats. And it is now 48-14. This is going to propel Wadsworth into those last 3 weeks of the season on a high note, and Jeff Fox is in the middle of the field. He couldn't get any farther onto the field. But we've got ourselves an unsportsmanlike conduct, and I think they're calling on him because the coach is right in the middle of the field. As obviously, I think he's not happy, and we've not seen – I don't think we've seen more than 1 penalty on Wadsworth tonight and no holding calls.
That's a very good point.
Which I think that might be why he's so mad. So now Dinwiddie back onto the field to kick another extra point. And he'll get this one up a little bit farther to the right, and that time it is no good. So he misses his first out of 7 extra point tries. He's only had 1 field goal attempt in this game, which was missed by about an inch from Connell Rafferty of Nordonia. And that's where we're at.
Expect to see maybe some backups here with the running clock. 5 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. Get some young guys an opportunity here.
Yeah, going back to just trying to keep everybody healthy. And remember 2004, my senior year at Nordonia, we were 8-0 going into a game against Solon, who was 7-1. And we were down late in the game, and it, in the last 3 or 4 minutes when it became apparent, down 2 scores, they have the ball, that we weren't going to win that game. On defense, and just heard coaches screaming, "Don't do anything stupid. Do not get yourself kicked out."
Exactly.
Like, out of frustration, don't throw a punch.
Yep.
Because obviously, you're disappointed. You want to win. You want to hit somebody extra hard, but those hits after the play or just kind of doing something dumb is that could impact you for future games, which we didn't want.
Yeah, that's why sometimes it's good to get.
And that's the frustrating part about any sports, but I think it's a critical lesson for young people to learn that, like, you're gonna face adversity, disappointment. Things aren't always gonna go the way you want them to go, but you've got to learn how to understand, sort of accept that.
For sure.
Well, I mean, in a basketball season, more than double the amount of regular season games, so you're almost inevitably going to lose a couple, even no matter how good you are.
Yeah, and it's a long season, man. That's the one thing you really gotta install in your players, showing your players that it's a 22+ game season, especially not including the playoffs. The game's gonna bring us challenges. Every game's gonna have a different outcome. So you gotta always be prepared and be ready for the moment.
The Knights basketball team and the boys side, 19-game winner last year, made it to the district championship for the first time in a long time.
I think 11 years.
Yeah, since that victory over Hudson in the district final.
How about that year? They started off the year slow. They ended up 14-9. They won 11 of their last 13 games.
And that was a pretty special season for Nordonia, just like last year was. And, with 4:40 left, we were talking a little bit before the game, but anything on your mind as far as what to look forward to for the boys basketball team this season?
A lot of new faces. You lose 8 seniors. You got a couple returning guys. I definitely think we're going to play a lot faster, even though we did play fast last year. We got a little more athleticism. I would say that. I think it's going to be an exciting group to watch for sure. And these guys put in the work. I'll tell you what, the last few weeks we started about 3 weeks ago, and just the improvement that we've seen in 3 weeks has got a little bit of a buzz going there in the gym.
Yeah, that's always exciting. And then everybody starts 0-0 too, and it sometimes comes down to how hard people are working in the off season, and then how the team gels to start the year. So we're excited to cover some more games for the Knights, the Tigers, and the Greenmen in basketball, both boys and girls, but definitely not quite ready to finish the football year yet.
Oh yeah, we got a few more weeks left.
So there's a timeout on the field. First down for Nordonia, 4:25 to play, and this one has gotten out of hand here in the second half. It was 28-14 at halftime. Nordonia got a 3-and-out on defense. They then proceeded to drive all the way down inside the 20. Ben Chesser on third down at about 8 had a wide open receiver, but he had 2 men in his face, threw it up, and was just a little bit overboard. Nordonia then tried to kick the field goal, missed it by a hair, and Wadsworth, all they did was run right down the field the other way, scored a touchdown to go up 3 scores, and then they just continued to pile on after that. So new players in here, presumably on both sides of the ball. And this first down run is a pretty good one. See if we can get a number there, and that's number 26, Connor Wapham. Connor is a sophomore, picked up 5 on first down. when we get a chance, too, we want to recognize our Focus Picks Impact Player of the Game for Nordonia.
What a day for him, that young man today. He's all over the football field, well deserving. One of the best games I've seen him play.
No doubt about that on homecoming night, too. And the quarterback in for Nordonia, you notice, is a freshman, number 35, Stephen Foucault.
Hey, this kid's a real deal. You know, he plays a lot of JV. He's a pretty good, accurate quarterback that can sling it.
See if we can get Israel's final stats for you, as he is our impact player of the game.
Man, what a day. 7 catches, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns. He doesn't go show up the defensive side of the ball, but I'll tell you what, I know he has a few tackles on that side as well.
Yep, and there's his first touchdown of the night. There's a second touchdown shortly before the end of the first half. It felt like he was bringing the Knights back into the game. This might have been the best play of the night for him, was the diving catch over the defense's head. He's just been a major weapon on offense and somebody that's going to continue to see this team through the rest of the season. So with a 4th and 2, Nordonia is going to punt it. They fake punted twice tonight already. One time it worked, one time it didn't.
I tell you what, man, you know, as a coach, you don't like these games, but you accept it. And the reason why is because you get to kind of see what type of young men you have. You know, now you're in a race. You know, Nordonia right now with Hudson and Wadsworth. You're in a 3-team race here to see who can kind of take the throne. And again, next week will be a big bounce back week, and we'll see what type of men these young men are. It's the Explorers they're competing against next week, right? Is it not mistaken?
Yeah, Nordonia is going right to Hudson.
Right up the street.
Which you hate to say it, but they're a similar type team as Wadsworth, you know? And I'm pulling up here real quick Wadsworth's record to the end of the year because, like you said, that 3-team race, all 3 teams will have 1 loss right now in the conference. So the Nordonia-Wadsworth game is huge, Hudson game next week is huge to see who's going to keep pace with the Grizzlies. Actually, Wadsworth still doesn't have a loss in the league. So
You're right.
One of these teams is going to need them to lose. And Wadsworth finishes off with Stowe. And then, unless this is wrong, they're playing a team from Maryland called Fort Hill. And then they'll finish with North Royalton. Now, Stowe's down this year. They're 0-6 to start the season. So we'd love to see some kind of upset there. But,
yeah, for sure. They control their own destiny after tonight.
That's absolutely, especially in the Suburban League. So new QB in there for the Grizzlies as well, and there's a big hole on first down. A man is going to take this all the way to pay dirt. That is going to be Cooper Gray, the sophomore running back, who goes 44 yards on first down against Nordonia's backups. And we're going to be in the 50s.
Looks like that type of night, huh?
Yep. It's been that type of night, especially second half. A fun one if you're a Grizzly and you made that drive from Wadsworth. How many times have we seen teams come into a Focus Sports area group and have a long drive and then get beat and have to drive home,
Quiet,
on a bad mood?
Yep. Man, that's the word.
Tonight's the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
And this, reminds me of when you go on the road in any sport, in high school or college, and you get that win. The drive home feels like it takes about 5 minutes, no matter where you're going.
Especially on a Friday night, man.
Yep.
Just high energy, great vibes, great moods the rest of the weekend. Now we need big fella Miles Garrett to get us a win on Sunday, man.
That's true.
Big game.
Let's see if Miles can go 1 for 2 on games this weekend. 55-14 with 36 seconds to play. We'll likely see probably 1 snap from Nordonia and then call it a night here and get out of here while we still can. There's a dark night and bright lights with a few bugs hanging out. You can't say much about the atmosphere in a negative way or the weather or anything like that. Everything was lining up to be a classic, and I think Wadsworth just came out and just delivered punch after punch.
They definitely set the tone tonight. They brought the message here. They weren't playing around, and I think it said that from the start. Their tempo, just their energy from the first possession. They were locked in and engaged. And I mean, when you talk about, you mentioned earlier, how many penalties did they have? Rarely any.
Maybe one, maybe two.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing on the chart. 0 penalties. Wow. Am I mistaken? 0 penalties for Wadsworth? Okay. Maybe a couple here. But again, not many. And that just shows just the discipline and the mindset that they came in here with tonight.
So the young guys are getting a chance to play for both teams, and that had to be a thrill for Cooper Gray, the sophomore running back, to get that 44-yard rumble.
There's your Wadsworth penalty, Pete.
At this point, all they're doing is holding up the game.
6 seconds left, huh?
Oh, we're in a running clock. Okay, I forgot about that. When you get down 30 or more in the second half, they run the clock.
Going to kick it.
And we'll start the clock, and it is going to go all the way down, like you said. Triple digits, triple zeros. 55-14 is where we finish. Wadsworth is the victor, and man, do they make a statement. They're going to improve to 6-1. Nordonia is going to drop to 6-1. Wadsworth remains undefeated, and they are really in the driver's seat for the Suburban League. Nordonia still hanging around and still has a shot, but they're going to need to take care of some business against a very difficult opponent next week in Hudson. Any final thoughts, Dominique, from what we saw tonight?
No, again, just kind of a disappointment, obviously, what we expected. But you got to give credit to credit was due. Wadsworth, they showed up tonight, and Nordonia's got to hit the reset button, bounce back, starting tomorrow in their film session, and get ready for the Explorers.
Walked away with a lot of respect for Will Stack, that quarterback, as well as Kyle Figueray, and then the sophomore phenom, Gavin Madigan, running back, linebacker combination for the Grizzlies. And we appreciate you hanging in there with us tonight and tuning into the contest as it is homecoming for Nordonia. Again, congratulations to Josh Henderson, the homecoming king, and Anaya Parks, the homecoming queen. Hope everybody stays safe this weekend and makes safe decisions at Nordonia. Thanks again to Joe Gaba and Jill for sponsoring Safe Decisions Week, and thank you for tuning in. For the Focus Sports crew, Greg Bizjak, our director, and my partner, Dominique Sanders, this is Pete Hansberger saying so long. Thanks for watching from Nordonia.